Well, hello YouTube. This is Angie the Coder, and today I'm coming to you for, I think, maybe my 5th or 6th installment in the series 2021 EM Changes, a Deep Dive. And today I want to cover something that I've received a lot of emails about. First of all, thank you guys for your emails. I really appreciate that. But I've received a lot of emails from people who are in behavioral health who have asked, how will these 2021 changes affect the way we code things like psychotherapy and EM stuff for the behavioral realm. And so today I'm going to do my best to answer that question. As usual, the source documents will be listed in the description below the video, so you can go and you can find, where I'm getting this information. Moving on. So, like I said, this is the number one question I've received since I started this video series is, hey, can you please help us figure out how these changes are going to affect behavioral providers? So let's see what we can figure out. A little caveat here is that I have been researching this since I got the first email, which was months ago, and I've yet to find a definitive answer to these questions. So I'm going to do my best to tell you what I think is going to happen and how I think these codes are going to affect you. Like I said, take this with a grain of salt. As soon as I get some really concrete evidence of me being correct or me being incorrect, I'll do an updated video to let you guys know. But let's just start with this. Okay, I think the answer is it's going to depend on what kind of services you are providing. If you are billing for EM codes alone in the office setting, then it'll be one way. If you are billing with an EM code with psychotherapy on the same day, then the rules are going to be a little different. So let's assume that, say you're a psychiatrist and you're seeing a patient in the office setting. This does not apply to the hospital setting or observation, but in the office setting, and you're billing just an EM code. Then you will get to follow either set of the guidelines. If you guys have been following my videos, you understand that you're able to level based on either time or medical decision making. So if you are a behavioral provider seeing a patient in the clinic and you're not doing psychotherapy on that day, or the patient is not receiving psychotherapy on that day, then you could bill the EM code leveling it either on your time or on your medical decision making. And also it will be okay to use the prolonged service code 99XXX if your time, exceeds. And you guys go back, I'll try to remember to link it in the video up here, but go back and review my video about how to use the new prolonged service code. So if you are a provider and you're seeing a patient and all you're going to do is an EM that day, there'll be no psychotherapy, then you get to follow whichever set of rules works for you, whether you level based on time or whether you level based on your MDM. And if you're leveling on time and you exceed your time and you've met the criteria for the prolonged service code 99XXX, then you can use that. Like I said, check out my video on the prolonged service code to get more information on that. And I also have a video on how to bill your service based on time. This is only if you're seeing a patient in the office and you're doing an EM service alone, no psychotherapy. That brings me to the next slide. However, if you are seeing a patient and you're doing EM with psychotherapy, the rules are going to be a little different. And I can't get this confirmed anywhere. I have been on CMS's website, I've been on the AMA website, I've been on everybody's website, and I don't see where anyone has confirmed this, but I suggest that things are not going to change when it comes to using time to level an EM on the same day as psychotherapy. You guys are probably well aware, if you're in the realm of behavioral health, that currently, as of 2020, whenever you bill an EM code with one of your psychotherapy add-on codes, that you are not allowed to use time to select your level of your EM service. That's in the CPT Code book under the psychotherapy guidelines. It's very well documented there that you are not to select your level based on your time. I don't think they're going to change that, or we would have already seen it. I'd be very surprised if they have changed that. So I'm pretty sure it will stay the way it is. You will not be able to bill the EM portion of your EM with psychotherapy based on time. Just I'm going to give you a disclaimer that that's just what I think is going to happen. And that's based on the fact that I can't find anything out there that says contrary to that. So that's the current rule, and I believe we'll probably be sticking with it. Currently, if you are billing an EM with psychotherapy, your EM has to be based on your history, exam, and medical decision making. Well, if we're no longer counting the history and exam portion, they still need to be done, but they're not going to be audited and leveled and whatnot, then that leaves you with just MDM. So if you're billing EM with psychotherapy, my understanding is that you're going to bill your psychotherapy based on time, like you always do, and you're going to bill your EM based on just the medical decision making. So let me see if I can kind of illustrate this a little bit. Let's go through these bullets first. The first 3 bullets are just me illustrating the EM with psychotherapy add-on codes, 908, 33, 36, and 38. And 33 is if you have psychotherapy in the range of 16 to 36 minutes. 36 is if your psychotherapy is in the range of 38 to 52 minutes. And 90838 is if you spend 53 minutes or more with the patient in psychotherapy. Now you notice I put pluses in front of those codes, and that's because they're add-on codes. They will be used in addition to your codes from the office visit codes, the 99202 through 99215 series codes. All right, so like I said, my suggestion is that you're going to use time to report the psychotherapy add-on codes, and then you'll use the MDM to level your 99202 through 99215, and you will not be using the prolonged services code, because currently you're not allowed to use prolonged services if you're using the EM with psychotherapy add-on codes. And I don't think they're going to change that. That's just my opinion. We will wait and see. I hope they're not going to wait till the code book comes out to tell us that this is going to change. But unless any of you guys know any differently, I have not been able to find that this rule is going to change. And I think I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to take you out and show you the guidelines. A lot of you guys are already doing behavioral, so you probably know those guidelines. But I'm going to just go out to CPT and show you what the guidelines say. Okay, so we're now in my Codify account. You would do this if you have a code book just by flipping to the guidelines in the front of the section of the psychotherapy code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the code, one of the psychotherapy add-on codes, 90833, which is the this one right here. It's an add-on code, as you can see with a plus. But here's what I want to show you. This you can find in your CPT code book, but I'm going to just show you this is straight out of your CPT code book. Here are the guidelines that should be in this section where these codes are in your book. And if you go down to right here, if you look at number 2 right here and you go to kind of to the middle of the paragraph, I don't know if I can point it out, probably not, but to the middle of the paragraph here it says, time may not be used as the basis of the EM code selection, and prolonged services may not be reported when psychotherapy with EM codes 90833, 36, 38 are reported. So this should be right there in your CPT code book. So we're going to go back out to the presentation and go from there. So this is why I believe that you're not going to be able to use time when you're doing EM plus psychotherapy on the same day, because currently that's what it says in CPT, and there is nothing in the new guidelines that say that that is going to change. And I can't find anything on the AMA site or the CMS site that claim that this is going to change. Okay, so we're back in here, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of give you a little quick scenario. Okay, say you're seeing a patient who has maybe they have depression and you put them on a drug for that. Let's just say, I don't know, Zoloft. Say you put the patient on Zoloft and she came back for a visit and, well, she made an appointment. She said, I'm having some side effects from the Zoloft. Maybe weight gain, headache. I don't know what the side effects for Zoloft are, but maybe she's complaining that it's not really working very well and I'm having side effects. I'm still depressed and I'm not feeling very well and I think it's side effects. So she makes an appointment and she comes in and you do a regular EM with her, but then while she's there, she also has the psychotherapy. Let's say she has 35 minutes of psychotherapy, and that puts her at add-on code 90833. And then you want to use your medical decision making to level her service for the EM. So let's go see what that would look like. So what we're going to do, we go to the next page. We're going to go to this grid here. And like I said, these links are in your description below, so don't worry. So this is the medical decision-making grid. I did a whole video on how to level services based on medical decision-making. I'll put a link. Hopefully, I'll remember to put a link in the up above, so you can click on that video if you need to watch that video. But let's say, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Actually, hold on, let me do one more thing. We're going to make it more fun. Hit this button here, and we're going to mark it up. This way I can draw on here for you and you guys can see what we're talking about. So we're going to zoom in a bit, and this is a patient. Like I told you, she came in and the last time you saw her, you were treating her for depression. You wrote her a prescription for Zoloft, let's just say, and she calls back in and says, oh, I'm having side effects. I'm having headache, and let's say she's having weight gain, and or some kind of sexual side effects or whatever. She doesn't like the Zoloft, and she doesn't feel like it's actually helping. So she comes in, and she has let's say one problem. It's a chronic illness with an exacerbation, not really, but progression, but she is complaining of side effects of treatment. So I would say in this column, you have a moderate problem. And then you go across to the next column, which is your labs and whatnot. Say you didn't really run any labs on her. There was no need to. You realize that she's just not a good candidate for Zoloft, and you decide to put her on a different prescription. So we have nothing in this column here, so just disregard this column. And then we're going out to, oops, I'm drawing a lot of lines here. Then we go out to the final column. And this is the risk, the overall risk to the patient. And let's say you do some prescription drug management because you changed her prescription. So now you have to have, let me show you. Your level of decision making is based on 2 of 3 in those 3 columns. So you have 2 moderates. You have a moderate here and a moderate there. That makes your overall a moderate. And it makes this patient, who is an established patient, a 99214. So your patient is a 99214. So let's go back to our presentation. Okay, so we're back in the presentation, and what this patient ended up with is a 99214 and a 99214 and a 90833. So you see how easy that is? I know a lot of you guys are really worried about this, but not a lot is going to change for you. If you already cannot bill based on time for the EM portion of the EM with psychotherapy. So now what you'll do is you'll only have to focus on the medical decision making. When you're doing a patient who is EM with psychotherapy, your time that you spent in psychotherapy will help you select which one of the add-on codes to use, and then your medical decision making will tell you which one of the EM codes to use. Really pretty simple. So guys, I know I made this kind of quick and dirty. I am going to keep my ear to the ground and see if I hear anything contrary to what I just told you, and if I do, I will definitely throw a video up there, and try to remember to post something out on Facebook to let you guys know that we have some new information about this topic that seems pretty near and dear to a lot of you guys. I'm unfortunately having to present my opinion when it comes to this particular topic because I can't find anything concrete to work with. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please share it with others, give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to the channel, and ring the little bell if you want to be notified when I drop a new video. And also, please feel free to contact me either in the comments, or you can send me an email, or you can hop out there to my website, which is angiethecoder.com, and check me out there. Until next time, you guys have a great week and happy coding.